looks like it's going to be quite a big win for the Brexit Party, yeah.
It was the election no one predicted a few months back, yet it was the election full of predictions as it came around. And the most likely of those predictions, a Brexit Party domination, proved to be on the money as Nigel Farage and co picked up 4 of the 10 seats in the South East and came out on top in all Kent Council results.
We were supposed to leave on March the 29th. That date was embedded in people's minds. It hasn't happened. That's allowed the meteoric rise of this party. And if we don't leave on October the 31st, this party will reach higher still.
The Lib Dems were tipped to pick up the Remain vote, and that they did. More than 650,000 in fact voted for them as they secured 3 seats, including a new one for Faversham's Anthony Hook.
Those of us who are campaigning hard for Remain have made a big leap forward. I was here 5 years ago when we elected only 1 MEP in the whole of the country. We've now got 3 just in this region alone, and probably about 15 or so I think it's going to be across the nation. So people have sent a really strong message. They've voted Liberal Democrats because they want Brexit to stop. That's Remainers who are unhappy with how Brexit's turning out, but also people who voted Leave who aren't getting any of the things that they were promised by the dishonest, misleading Leave campaign.
Some had a forecast of Westminster troubles leading to Labour and the Conservatives not even picking up a single seat. That didn't quite come true though, as they, along with the Greens, all picked up 1 seat each.
Yeah, people are angry. People are obviously angry in Kent. We could see that in the results very clearly. And there's no mystery what they're angry about. They voted Leave. All the politicians promised that they would implement the result. And 3 years on, that hasn't happened. Now, I would argue that that is mainly the fault of the anti-Brexit parties. But of course, politics being politics, the party in office tends to be the one that gets the blame.
So the dust has settled here in Southampton, and as predicted, the Brexit Party swept up with the majority of seats. But time to predict what happens next. Can Conservatives and Labour come back if, as rumoured, there is a general election? And, as Nigel Farage is predicting, could his party succeed where UKIP failed last time round? Does that put you for maybe a position on going for MP again?
Well, there's obviously Peterborough to fight, and there's going to be obviously a general election at some point. We don't know when. Could happen this year.
So, as Farage leaves the vote behind, what lays ahead? You'd be bold to predict that one. Harry Peet for KMTV, Southampton.
As soon as he was pouring the petrol in, it was coming out, and then he had to look under the car, and then he showed me what appeared to be 3 drilled holes in my fuel tank.
She knew something was wrong as soon as her car came grinding to a halt. Catherine Lockett from Maidstone's one of the victims of a spate of fuel thefts around the county town. Kent police say there's been 5 reports in Shepway, Bearsted and Langley, with Catherine's family, though, appearing to account for more than half of those.
We were without 2 vehicles that then had to go to the garage. We were told it was possible at least one of them could be unfixable and that the car would actually be written off. We had to, because we live outside of town and work in Maidstone, we needed a vehicle, so we had to hire a car. But then unfortunately, the hire car, we had gone out for my partner's birthday at the weekend, left the hire car on our drive overnight, and then the next morning we discovered that the same thing had happened to the hire car.
What's worrying and more shocking about this case, which has caused extra distress for Catherine, her family and those who have been affected by this, is that the petrol wasn't taken from the fuel filler cap by siphoning fuel from inside, but it was actually taken by drilling 3 holes underneath the fuel tank and letting it drip out.
It was both cars with some, to replace a petrol tank is a very big job. I think the garage was all, even at one point, saying that they were going to have to get a 3D petrol tank made, which is really expensive, but we have got insurance, but with the excess and the hire car, it's already costing us over £1,000, which we just don't have. We're not able to book a holiday now, which we were hoping. We've not been on a holiday with George yet as a family, and we were actually hoping to be able to do that this year, and we can't now, so that's pretty upsetting.
Kent Police issued an appeal earlier in the week saying diesel and petrol was stolen between the 14th and 18th of March. Inspector Mark Hedges of Maidstone's Community Safety Unit said that if feasible, car owners should also take precautions by parking in a garage, on a private driveway or a well-lit area covered by CCTV. But the damage has already been done, leaving the victims out of fuel and out of pocket. Harry Peet for KMTV, Maidstone. The attention to detail and accuracy of the trench is absolutely awe-inspiring, and even this tunnel here has been made slightly wider to accommodate visitors, but I mean, you can see that during a war this wouldn't be the nicest of places to try and squeeze through. Visitors always flock to the county's castles and galleries, theatres and cathedrals. Yes, Kent's full of fascinating tourist destinations, but there's concerns from some tourism industries here in the county about how willing those tourists will be to come here and take pictures and enjoy the scenery after Brexit. 10-year-old Elliot Cole travelled far and wide in 2018, collecting 22 gold medals from the 25 competitions he entered. Elliot's now considered one of the biggest rising stars in Kent sports, and I'm pleased to say he's in the studio now along with coach Lee Johnson and his dad Steve. So Elliot was just seen there, you look pretty good at that. Tell me what it is exactly that you do.
Well, I do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and I train quite a bit. I train 4 days a week.
Now it looks almost unrecognisable at the moment, but this is in fact one of the dozens of Land Rover Defenders which have sadly never made it back to their rightful owners. This one here in Hollingbourne, as you can see, is completely burnt out, and the criminals are very tricky to catch. The figures we received show that just 47 of the 121 were recovered, and despite the rural team doubling from 6 to 12 officers last year, is there enough resources to tackle these crimes? Now, all of this relates to Tunbridge and Malling Borough Council's local plan, and much like the game of Monopoly, they need to have a strategic head when deciding where they want to build and put these. And when it comes to Tunbridge, lots of residents have question marks about just how they're going about that.
Now, it's the job of this special network rail train to keep the tracks clear during wintry conditions. It uses these special brushes on the bottom here to clear ice off the third rail so the trains can stay powered, as well as spraying de-icer on the track as well to keep all of our trains moving in those extreme conditions.
So there we have it. Even at this level of football, where the budgets may not be big as the big names, the attention to detail is second to none, right down to the smallest piece of grass. Harry Peet for KMTV in Tunbridge.